Welcome back, gents. Today we're testing 52 grain Nosler custom competitions with Ramshot tack powder. Overall length is 2.260, that's max mag length, with Lake City brass, Rueg primers, and we're doing pretty gross powder gradations. We're going to ignore the minimum powder charge here because I was sighting in my scopes and things did not go well. So, there we go, 25 and a half, 26, 26 and a half, 27. Like I said, pretty gross powder gradations. The one other thing I'm missing here is that I'm testing two different barrels in two different uppers. A Shaw custom barrel, which is a pretty basic button-pulled barrel. They're usually OEM replacement for Savage barrels. There we go. And also, I'm doing some initial testing of my Shilen barrel, which is button-pulled, air-gauged, and also they do lap the barrel. Anyway, so let's take a look at the Shaw results first. So this is 25 and a half grains. You can see there about 1.5 inch group, we're going to go ahead and say. These two are overlapping with 26 grains. Nice tight core group, but then we have this flyer that got shot out down below. Then we have some horizontalness with an overlapping bullet, but it almost looks like double grouping. But then we can see here, the core group kind of shifts over there, so we're shifting more to the left. And we have a flyer out there, which is harmonically induced, not shooter induced, because look where this other double grouping is going. So yeah, nothing really to write home about, but not bad for an AR platform. Now let's take a look at the Shilen results. So this is 25.5. You can see here kind of a similar, I don't want to say a core group with some flyers going out, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this one is kind of a little bit more general, but a little bit more of a shift to the lower right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then here we have 26 grains. I'm sorry, 26 and a half grains. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a flyer up there. And then finally 27 grains, which is the max charge, by the way. I'm getting some slightly flattened primers in kind of a scary way. But 1, 2, 3, 4, and there. Similar point to impact with a flyer that kind of shot out to a little bit where we were before. So I'm not sure how to explain that. One last thing. These were with my Matchmaster dies. I did bring out a second set that we're going to fire through the Shilen, and is with a different die set. So I'm very anxious to see how those go, because I think my neck tension might be a little bit light, and I think it might explain some of these flyers. So let's get to shooting and find out. Okay, gents, continuing our testing with 52 grains Nosler custom competition with Ramshot tack. This is going to be with Norma brass this time, but also a different die set, specifically the RCBS X die. And here's the minimum charge that we did. This is actually the minimum charge, 25 grains. Then 25 and a half, where you can see there's 3 overlapping. And then we got some flyers that kind of sputtered out. Kind of a little bit of a shift to the upper right. Well, actually, just up for the point to impact. Then here, things definitely fall apart. We almost get that double grouping. And then 26 and a half, which originally did very well. Now seems like we have a flyer with 2 double groups. And then the final charge, I don't know what happened here because all these felt like really good shots. However, I will tell you that not only am I getting slightly flattened primers, but an injector smear is barely starting to show. So pressure signs are starting to rear its ugly head, and that's what I blame these on. Otherwise, the core group is kind of a similar point to impact. So I guess I'm not too surprised that things are getting out of control. In general, I think that these groups, with the exception of this one, are surprisingly worse than with the lighter neck tension, because I was actually really, really worried about running such a light neck tension, especially in an AR platform, but that seemed to work out in our favor. There's a lot of things to speculate on, because this being our lightest charge, I'm wondering if maybe that's why the lighter neck tension worked out for the best, because Nosler load data, if I remember right, did say that this was going to be the most accurate. So I'm wondering if the lighter neck tension is just kind of expounding on that. Again, that's pure speculation. That's not backed up by any hard science. That's just my brain trying to make connections and trying to make sense of this. But overall, for initial testing, for load development with the Shilen barrel, I'm overall very happy. I mean, none of these, okay, that one, no, I don't like. But all the other groups have been very acceptable for just simply picking overall length and then just simply doing a powder test. There's nothing terrible here. And there's some things that definitely point to it being quite good, because that's probably a little bit over half an inch. We'll find out. I'll take a picture with range, buddy. Let's talk about our AR platforms that we're using today, just briefly. I did mention it before, but I wanted to go over it a little bit in depth because there are some differences to be noted, even though they have a lot going on that's similar with them. For example, they're both 20-inch stainless steel barrels. They're both button pulled. However, the Shilen up there has been hand lapped. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Let's talk about this first one down here. This is a Shaw custom upper. I did not build this. This is one of the first uppers that I bought when I was getting serious about getting into the AR platform. So like I said, 20-inch barrel, titanium muzzle brake. It has a rifle length gas system that is non-adjustable, and a nickel boron bolt carrier group, which I've been enjoying for what it is. All this is propelled by the Bushnell Match Pro scope. So this is a 6-24 scope with a 50mm objective lens, and it's dialed in with mil-radians. That's a poor way to explain it, but I'm used to MOA, so this is kind of a mind trip. But still, I'm adjusting, and it works really well for what it is. Up here, we have my Shilen barrel. So this is, again, 20-inch stainless steel, hand-lapped, and also air-gauged. And I believe for ARs, they do not have the two grades. I think they only sell match grade. They don't have select match. Either way, this barrel costs twice as much as that barrel, and I think it kind of shows. I think we kind of proved that with this trip. Not that that is always the case, because remember, in a previous video, I did do some testing with a proof research barrel, and although that was a very precise barrel, it actually was not quite as accurate as my other Shaw barrel in 6-arc. Anyway, the upper here is a little bit higher tier. This is a Veltor upper. The rail is nothing to write home about. This is a, come on, let's focus. Too much sun. So this is a Ballistic Advantage logic rail, which is equivalent of a Aero Precision Atlas R1, if I remember right. I do like this rail, especially the way it connects down there to the barrel nut. Otherwise, we have a pretty basic nitride bolt carrier group, but we have the matched bolt that goes with the barrel. So that's kind of nice. And then the lower, this is a New Frontier Armory billet lower with an Amentu grip and an Amentu stock that I quite like, and a BCM, I can't remember if it's a Mark II or Mod 2, but this is a rifle length gas tube with the appropriate weights. The scope, though, is definitely a step down. This is a Bushnell Nitro scope, so this is only 20 power. It's definitely running on a handicap here, but I definitely shot better groups. Look at that. Yeah. I need to get a replacement. Anyway, there you go. So that's a very quick overview of these two AR setups.